Ahshar Shabbath, yalad, waachwathya. I hope that you all are enjoying this beautiful Shabbat. It is a glorious, phenomenal morning. I am just gracious to be alive. I'm gracious to still have the desire to please the Most High, to serve Him with my whole heart, with my whole mind, with all my spirit, to the best of my ability, and to desire discipline, and to be taught, and to continually get better in this walk as I as I pursue this kingdom and being as righteous as the Most High has destined and preordained for me to be. Forgiving, genuinely forgiving, not harboring hate. I'm just thankful. I'm very, very thankful. We're going to try something new today. We are going to complete we're going to pick up in the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 57. But you may not hear the music. Instead, you may hear cars. You may hear birds. The regular, schmegular things about being outside. Because I am actually on the porch. I took a nice little walk this morning. Cleared my mind. Thankful for the evening that just passed. Because thankful to the Most High, I am now again talking to my cousin, which is my heart. Like, she has my whole heart. I wouldn't say whole heart. The Most High has my heart, then my cousin. And it means a lot to me that the Lord ordained us to join paths again. I'm very, very proud and thankful for where she is in life. And I was brought to tears over things that she was sharing with me. I just couldn't believe it. Like, she's really grown up. So I'm gracious to the Most High that she's back in my life. I missed her. I didn't really have anyone to vent to. Ahshar, that's not me putting you down, acting like you was not around for me. That's not what I'm saying. But you and I both know that nobody will ever on this earth, as far as flesh, be able to top the female relationship that I have with my cousin. She literally knows everything about me. So not being able to vent and seek counsel or to be advised in the hardest time of my life, which is just past, which is what I'm getting over now, it was very complex. But I'm thankful to the Most High that He didn't allow me to fall. And again, that He ordained that we join paths again. It feels really, really good. I feel like I gained so much by getting my cousin back. So I'm gracious to the Most High. But we're going to move forth and we're going to go ahead and pick up in the book of Psalms, again, chapter 119, verse 57. There was a change of plan, my people. I came back in because I felt like I was too distracted with being outside. I didn't want to be distracted. I wanted my full, undivided attention to be in the Word, especially on this Shabbat, beautiful day, this blessed, holy, set apart day. We're going to go ahead and move on into the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and again we're picking up in verse 57, which reads, "My portion, O Yahweh, I have said that I would keep thy words." King David is emphasizing that the Most High is his part of a whole. That's what portion means. Part of a whole. It's a fragment, a segment. It's a piece of something. It's a part of a whole. He's expressing that the Most High is his portion. And that because the Most High is his portion, he's going to keep the Most High's words. And that's plural with an S. When we think about a portion, or in this case, an inheritance, you have to use common sense, right? When we think about it from the world aspect, someone passes away. This person has a will. There are specific things that this person is giving to their descendants or beneficiaries as an inheritance, as a heritage. It's passed down to a bloodline. So when we use common sense, we know that a stranger that has absolutely nothing to do with this descending or this inheritance, this bloodline, they can't just come in and take it. It doesn't work like that. And even if you do take it, it still does not belong to you. You are then a thief, right? And the only way in is through the gatekeeper, whom is Yahawashi. And Yahawashi knows who belongs to him. And no one can rend from his hand what the Father has given to him. And that's in accordance with the gospel. The book of John, to be exact. So when we think about King David advising that the Most High is his portion, his part of a whole, we have to understand that this is our inheritance. Come over to the book of Romans, chapter 9, and we're going to start in verses 1 through 5, which read, I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not, my conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. This is New Testament. For my New Testament only brethren, thinking that the whole world can be saved. And mind you, this Romans, even though we're in chapter 9, it is an epistle, meaning that it is a letter. So in the beginning of each of the epistles written by Paul, he addresses whom it is that he's speaking to. So although you've picked up something in chapter 11, you have to understand that when this was written, it was written as an epistle, a letter. So although we see it as chapters, books, it is a letter. And when you're writing a letter, it is addressed to a specific person or persons. And then it's sent to that person or persons. So despite if you turn the letter to the 4th page and you see one thing that you feel can negate the entire or the part of a whole, it doesn't work like that. We have to remember that it is a letter that addresses a certain persons in the beginning. So despite what you think or what you thought you heard, you have to keep that in mind. So Paul goes forth and reads again, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, not spiritual Israel, not Gentiles that are grafted in because, the whole world can be saved. And no, according to the flesh. He speaketh to them that know the law, in whom the law was given to, in whom the law was brought forth to through a blood oath. Who was this law brought forth to through a blood oath? His kinsmen, according to the flesh, the Israelites. We can go back into Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and we can refer to those accounts, right? We move on and it reads in verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service and the promises, who's the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen. So Paul is letting you know that this is our inheritance. Those are some of the inheritances that he has allowed us, not allowed us, but has labeled and listed for us so that we understand in the latter days, because we know that these things that are written were written aforetime for our learning, right? So he labeled the things that came with our inheritance, right? And then also advised who this inheritance is going to. So coming back to verse 57 in chapter 119 of the book of Psalms, King David is advising that the Most High is his portion, his part of a whole. The Most High belongs to Israel. He is in the midst of Israel and will never be ashamed. He is our God and none else. He has given the other nations, the other 17 nations, gods of their own, gods that look like them. He is the God of Israel. And he's our part of a whole. And in us keeping our parts of a whole, we have to keep his words. we have to keep his words. I feel like I've kind of got that understanding inbraided in your heads. I hope I have. But I don't think I have to keep, beating you over the head about it. But I do love that verse. Moving on to verse 58, it reads, I entreated thy favor with whole heart. Be merciful unto me according to thy word. Here's that according to thy word again. I love when he says according to thy word, because he's calling into remembrance the things that the Most High has said. And the Most High exalted his word above his name, and his word returns not void unto him. So when he says according to thy word, it moves my spirit. It moves my spirit. Be merciful unto me, Yahweh, according to your word. Like, remember, you said it. You said it, and you lie not. The Most High can't lie. He's an invisible, clear, beautiful, pure being. He's light. There's no bad, no darkness in him. He's light. He's gorgeous. He's marvelous. He's marvelous, and he belongs to us. That's the beautiful thing about it. So he says, I entreated thy favor. King David has entreated the goodwill, the loving kindness with his whole mind of the Most High, and has asked that you be merciful unto me according to your word. We move on to verse 59. It reads, I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. I love that. Because when the Most High, let me come over here to Proverbs. When the Most High has presented this discipline to you, right? This word to you, has brought it to your attention, you're not supposed to make tarry. You're supposed to make haste to run to his word. That's what you are supposed to do. You're not supposed to, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Say that you'll do it tomorrow. You can't say that you're going to do it tomorrow, because you're nothing but vain air. That's why you can only say if the Lord says the same. And today's evil is sufficient enough. That's the only thing that you're supposed to concern yourself with, because we can't worry. It does not add a cubit to our stature. So when you get this word, you grab this word, you take hold of it, you make haste, and you tarry not. Let's turn over here to, it's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. And we went over this book. Remember, this was the personification of wisdom. So the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13, it says, take fast hold of instruction. Let not go. Keep her, for she thy life. That sounds like what we just read over here in the book of Psalms. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. You got to take hold fast of the instruction. It's your life. Remember, we were just talking about yesterday, or the day before yesterday, whichever day it was, when we were first reading in the book of Psalms, chapter 119. We were advising that the Most High is our life. He's our very life. Without the Most High, we have nothing. We have no direction. We have no instruction. We have no understanding. We are literally a sheep that has just gone astray and has been left to be ripped and torn apart by wolves and other predators. In this case, by the other nations, because they have encompassed us about, because of the sin that we have sinned against our God and the place that he placed us in because of our sin, and to chasten us. So without the Most High's instruction, without his word, without his direction, we have nothing, and we are lost, my people. So again, in Proverbs 4:13, it reads, take fast hold of instruction. Let not go. Keep her, for she thy life. Come over here to the Apocrypha. We're going to turn to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verses 17 through 20, which read, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. And incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. It all starts with you taking hold fast to these instructions, desiring discipline. Remember how we emphasized that the Most High, I'm sorry, that's my little cousin texting me, y'all. Remember how we emphasized how I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Lord willing, it'll come back to me. So I'm just going to pick up with where I know. So basically in verse 20, again, it reads, therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. And I'm going to stop right there because I literally have lost my train of thought. I apologize, my people. So let me go ahead and reread verse 60 again. It says, I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. So you can't delay. You can't tarry in your evil. You got to be prompt to turn away from your evils. That's understanding. Turning from evil and turning to the discipline of the Most High. That's what I was saying. So remember how we were emphasizing in the book of Psalms how King David continually asked the Most High to teach him, teach me, teach me, teach me, teach me. He emphasized to be taught, his desire to be taught. He wants to be taught the word of the Most High. And that's the very beginning, for you to take hold fast of these instructions so that you are then taught. And in your desire to be disciplined, which is the very true beginning, to be disciplined, to be taught, that ending of your desire to be disciplined and shown what to do is making you nigh unto the kingdom. So you gotta take heed, and you gotta take hold of these instructions. We're gonna move on. I'm thankful to the Most High that He brought that thought back. Verse 61. The bands of the wicked have robbed me, have not forgotten thy law. I love when King David emphasizes that although there be these afflictions that he faces, and you have to remember, King David was a king. You got to think about the riches that a king has. Whatever you want, he had it, right? From riches, understanding, children, women, food, just the basic things that we can think of. You have to think about the fact that this brother was a king. He could put you to death. Can't nobody touch him. If that's what he desired, that's what's going to be done. He was a king. But I love how humble he is. It didn't matter. It did not matter what King David went through. He was still humble enough to ask forgiveness when he was wrong, to repent with a whole heart when he was wrong, to make haste to come back to the will of the Most High, and to still seek that the Most High love him, teach him, direct him. I have not forgotten thy law. So it didn't matter what he went through, the afflictions. That brother still remembered the law of the Most High. And in the law of the Most High, we have promises. The promises of having an expected end. Being saved from our enemies. Being loved. Being directed. He didn't forget the law. We're going to move to verse 62. It says, at midnight I will rise to give thanks unto thee because of thy righteous judgments. You know how sometimes you may wake up in the middle of the night? I do a lot. You may wake up in the middle of the night. Some of us may hop on our phone, get on those stupid social medias. Some of us may just lay there and stare at the ceiling until you fall back asleep. But King David says at midnight, I will rise to give thanks unto thee because of thy righteous judgments. Get out that bed, my people. Turn east. You remember that in the scriptures it says that the Spirit will utter it what your mouth is not uttering or what your mouth is not saying, just roughly paraphrasing. There may be things that you need to pray, but you don't know the very words to speak it. So the Most High put that Spirit on you to utter those things for you through praise, through crying, through rejoicing, through the very acknowledging of His word, right? So at midnight, when you wake out of your sleep, you need to be giving praise. Give thanks unto the Most High for His righteous judgments. Thank Him. Get out of that bed. Get on your knees. If you're a sister, cover your head. You probably already got a bonnet on, because I think the majority of us sleep with bonnets anyway. Cover your head if you're a sister. If you're a brother, keep the crown of your head uncovered. Drop to your knees. Turn to the east. And give thanks unto the Most High because of his righteous judgments. Start practicing that. Make it a habit. We have a lot of bad habits. And from what I understand, from what I've heard in the world, it takes 21 days to break a bad habit, right? You may have addictions. I don't know how true it is. I've never tried it, okay? That's why I said it's something that I have heard. I will try it, so later on, Lord willing, I'll try it, so I can be like, oh, it do work, y'all. I don't know. But from what I have heard, it takes 21 days to break a bad habit, because there's something about your brain. It embeds this habit in your brain. So it becomes this habitual thing that you do. So to break that habit, you stop and refrain from it for 21 days. So try to do that. When you're waking up out of your sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't care how comfortable you are in that position, get up out of that bed, drop to your knees, turn to the east, and give thanks unto the Most High because of his righteous judgments. And see the very change in your spirit, the change in your life. I'm not saying you're going to get rich, you're going to get the car that you want, the job that you want, the money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the riches that cannot be bought with money. Salvation is free. That's what I'm talking about. And tell me if you see a change in your life. And I'm not saying just you. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to try it too. Because I do that. Sometimes I just lay there and look at the ceiling. I do talk to the Most High. But right here, it says at midnight, I will rise to give thanks. That means you need to get your butt up. So I'm hearing that too. When I'm talking to you all, I'm talking to myself as well. I'm receiving this chastising as well. We're going to move on. Verse 63. I a companion of all that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. A companion. Let me get that word. I want to get the defining of that word. A companion is a person or animal with whom one spends a lot of time or with whom one travels. One of a pair of things intended to complement or match each other. Don't we have over here, turn to the book of Amos. Turn to the book of Amos. I know y'all already know where I'm going. The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? How can two individuals walk together unless they be agreed? You would never see me in a group of women that are walking around with their assets hanging out. Like that's the only thing that they have to offer. Right? You can't do that. Because how can two walk unless they be agreed? How can you walk together unless you be agreed? I know y'all heard the little saying, birds of a feather flock together. That's of a truth. That's of a truth. Come over here to the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 20. He that walketh with wise shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. You are basically, when you walk, the company that you keep says a lot about you. Because if you're walking amongst sinners, what do you think that makes you? It's not to say that you can't teach an individual. That's not what I'm saying. So don't twist my words. I'm telling you, can two walk together except they be agreed? I'm just reading what the scriptures are saying. Come over here to the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 17. The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verses 17 reads, whoso feareth Yahweh shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. You are the company that you keep, right? And if you love the Most High, and if you're truly following the Most High, he'll give you the friends and the people that you need around you. You understand that, my people? It's really simple. It's not that hard to understand. I think I have another precept here. Let me take a look and see. Yes. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verses 14 through 18 read, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Hamashach, or Christ, with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth when an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Creator. As Yahweh hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in, and I will be their Creator, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate. That word separate here means holy, saith Yahweh. And touch not the unclean, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. So again, can two walk together except they be agreed? Come back over here to our book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 63. I, a companion of all that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. That's who you need to encompass yourself with. You got to be with like-minded people. Come over here to verse 64. We're going to move on down. It says, the earth, O Yahweh, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes. I have a precept here in 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, verse 20, which reads, so I considered the world, and behold, there was peril, because of the devices that would come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. So it says here, the earth, O Yahweh, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes. The Most High, speaking through Uriel to Esdras over here in the Apocrypha, has emphasized his great mercy, his multitude of mercies, by allowing these perils to exist, but keeping the people that he has ordained to life holy and set apart. Similar to, come over here to the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 24, verses 5 through 7. It says, thus saith Yahweh, the creator of Yasharala, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for good. For I will set mine eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them and not pull down, and I will plant them and not pluck up, and I will give them an heart to know me, that I, Yahweh, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, for they shall return unto me with their whole heart. So similar to how he emphasized here in 2nd Esdras chapter 9, that he has let the multitude perish which were born in vain, and let his grape be kept in his plant. For with great labor have he made it perfect. This earth is full of the Most High's mercy. There are a lot of devices and things that we see. But through all these captivities, all the wicked, the evildoers, the Most High has always kept a remnant of individuals that have not laid themselves down to bow themselves to Baal. And he'll always have a remnant. We know that the scripture says that 2/3 of us will be destroyed. Only 1/3 will make it out. There's always going to be a remnant of individuals who are going to serve the Most High with their whole heart and present to him a contrite spirit. But we'll move forth into verse 65. Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Yahweh, according unto thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. So he says, teach me good judgment and knowledge. You have to ask the Most High to teach you good judgment and knowledge. It is easy for us to become fleshy and carnal when dealing with our people, dealing with our brethren. Although in your immediate family, you may not have the brother or sister sitting to your left or to your right, or that you pass on the street, although they did not come from your immediate family, we all descend from the very loins of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob. That is literally your brother, your sister. You know how sibling rivalry, how you can't stand your brother or your sister that you were raised in the same household with because they know how to tick you off on a whole nother level? Because that's your brother, that's your sister. It's the same thing. We literally descend from the same line. So it is easy for us to piss each other off. It is easy for us to begin to hate each other because that is a very curse that we deal with, to have an evil eye toward our brethren. So it is easy to want bad for your brethren. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from having disgusting, ill, salty words coming from my mouth, with the same mouth that I curse my brother be the same mouth that I bless the Most High. And salt water and fresh water cannot come from the same well. So I'm speaking from things that I have done myself. I am not perfect. I literally just last evening said some very harsh words to an individual who is of my lineage because of the way that this individual has been treating me. So instead of me staying in the spirit and be ye angry and sinning not, I didn't bridle my tongue. And I said some very disgusting things. And we know, in accordance with Proverbs 18:21, let's turn there. Proverbs 18:21, death and life in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. You have to be watchful of the things that you say. And I'm speaking to myself. Even if this ain't hitting you, it's hitting me. You got to be watchful of the things that you say. You don't know how that makes someone feel. And even if you apologize for it, it still hurts. Those things can scar people. It can scar people. My people, I feel like I am back at square one. I feel like I started in the spirit, but oh ye foolish Galatian, who has bewitched you? How you think you can start in the spirit and end in the flesh? I have become an angry tyrant, my people. I have been afflicted. I'm not going to go into detail about it because I'm not going to do that. I don't know who's listening. My enemies listen to my teachings. I have become angered with the situation that I have been placed in. And I literally said some very bad things just this past evening. So this verse right here, 66, hit on it hit different. It says, teach me good judgment and knowledge. You gotta delight in being taught good judgment and knowledge. Because if I was delighting in that very moment and stayed in the spirit in that very moment, I would have been asking for good judgment so that I say not bad things unto my brethren. No matter how bad this person has treated me, no matter how much this person has lied to me, deceived me, has gravely hurt me. If I was asking for good judgment and knowledge, I would have known how to righteously deal with that situation. But instead, I envied Satan and I died just a little bit more. Because for the wages of sin is what, my people? It's death. So I've allowed my brother to snare my salvation. And I didn't walk out my salvation in trembling and in fear. And there's a possibility that I can fall into the hands of the Most High. And that's a fearful thing. And although I know these precepts, my flesh and my spirit be warring with me. I know that I'm not supposed to be doing these things, but it's oh wretched man that I am. Let's turn to it because it's about to hit different, my people. Oh, it's about to hit different. The book of Romans chapter 7, beginning in verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that good. Now then it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, I do not, But the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank the Most High through yahawashi, our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh the law of sin. It hit me different, my people. I know this law, and I love this law, and I delight in this law. But then your flesh start taking over, and then you begin to appease to your carnal appetite. Turn over here to the book of James. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 12. Bless the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. You got to know that when the Most High allows you to be tempted, right? When he puts you through these afflictions, I should say, it is to prove you, to know what be in your heart. If you're going to keep his law, or if you're going to turn from it, we going to mess up. We're going to do the things that we do not want to be done. Because indeed, our inward man wants this law, wants to do this law by all means. But you trapped in this disgusting body, this prison that you cannot get out of until you have done what the Lord has ordained you to do in this body. Man, you got to fight. And I'm saying this to myself. I feel this, just last night I said some very hurtful things to my brother. Because I didn't ask to teach me good judgment and knowledge, Yahweh. I didn't sit and meditate on the Most High and wait for him to direct my way. I became a carnal, disgusting individual, and I started envying Satan. And before I knew it, I was not bridling my tongue. I was like a city with no walls, my people. And you know what hurt so bad? I still haven't even apologized. So you got to ask the Most High to teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. If you believe in the commandments of the Most High, you will ask that he teach you good judgment and knowledge. Dealing with your people is a very complicated, complex, challenging thing. So much opportunity. Because you are dealing with a stiff-necked, sottish child. There's absolutely no stiff-necked, sottish individual as an Israelite. The men are stubborn, stiff-necked, and the women are just as stubborn and stiff-necked. You can't even out-argue an Israelite woman. Oh, don't get into no verbal battle with no black woman. Baby, you is not going to win. You are not going to win. And don't piss her off. Oh, my gosh. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. Verse 67. Before I was afflicted, I went astray. But now Before I was afflicted, I went astray. But now have I kept thy word. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Thou good, and doest good, teach me thy statutes. We know the Most High is good. He's nothing but good. All good, and nothing but good. Come over here to 1 John, chapter 1, verse 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you, that Yahweh is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Come over here to 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 17. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 17. Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise Creator, honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. Thou good, and doest good. Teach me thy statutes. Verse 69. The proud have forged a lie against me. I will keep thy precepts with whole heart. Despite what anyone does to you, my people, and I'm speaking to myself as well. If y'all don't hear it, I'll prophesy to the wind. Despite what is done to you by your people, you got to understand that we as a nation need a lot of rehabilitation. We need a lot of help as a whole. Israel had been likened unto a home-born servant, right? We have been in captivity ever since I can remember. We are currently in captivity. We went through the most brutal captivity in the transatlantic slave trade, and then even our brethren, also known as the Native Americans, the slavery that they went through, the bondage that they went through. They were in bondage before we were, I believe in 1492, if I'm not mistaken. So they were in bondage longer than we, Southern Kingdom. We as a people have been broken mentally, emotionally, knowledgeably, spiritually. And it's like generation on top of generation on top of generation on top of generation of hurt. So it's not just you dealing with something, my people. It's not just you dealing with something. We are all dealing with something as a nation because we descend from the same lineage and have all been getting the same chastisement as a whole. You're no better than your brethren. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how better you so-called dress. I don't care about the material things that you have. You are just like your brother that's walking outside with his head down, strung out on drugs. You are just like your sister that's prostituting her body, shooting herself up with drugs because she does not know her worth. You are just like your brother, your sister. You got the very same blood running through your veins, some royal blood at that. Running through your veins. You just like your brother and sister. The only difference, you know about this law. You know about this word. But if you are a true leader is actually in the back. Making sure that the ones that are weaker than him, weaker than her, are not touched. You know, a pack of wolves, my people? You know, the strongest one is always in the back to make sure that nobody try to sneak up behind him and catch him with the back door. That's how we got to be as a nation. When you rise up and you get this instruction, you turn around and you teach your brethren. Come over here to the book of Proverbs. Chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. You are supposed to come back and give that to your people. That's a true leader, my brother, my sister. But see, we as a stupid ass nation, we laugh at those that we feel are down below us, that don't have what we have. And that really says a lot about you. You really don't have nothing because your brother don't have nothing. The only way a nation can rise is if a nation rises. I know y'all heard the saying, there's no I in team. I've played basketball before. I wasn't good at it. I don't play sports like that. I was never good at it. But if I got sports players out there, when you're on a basketball team and one person mess up, is that one person doing suicides, or is it the whole team that's doing suicides? It's the whole team. You are responsible for your brother. You are responsible for your sister. You got to look out for your people. We as a nation need a lot of rehabilitation. And it's sad, and as grieving as it is to say, I have to admit that I don't think it's going to be this generation that sees the return of yahweh. It grieves my heart to think that there's a possibility that I may be buried in my captivity because of how screwed up my people are. Me too. I'm just as messed up. You know why? Because you are. Because you are. And we're being dealt with as a nation. Let's move on to verse 70. It says, their heart is as fat as grease. I delight in thy law. Good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. You're supposed to take joy when you're being afflicted. You're supposed to take joy when there's so much adversity, because that's when you learn the Most High's statutes. And that's also how you know he's dealing with you. Come over here to Proverbs. Proverbs 3:12. For whom Yahweh loveth, he correcteth. Even as a father, the son he delighteth. You're supposed to love when you are being afflicted. That's the Most High trying you to see what be in your heart. To see if you're going to turn from his law or if you're going to keep it. Do you love my law? Or you going to run astray? Because I'm whooping that booty. Come over here to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Verse 5. It reads, Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart, that as a man chasteneth his son, the Lord thy creator chasteneth thee. So just like a man whoops the child that he delighteth in to make sure that that child don't grow up doing stupid stuff, don't grow up making bad decisions, because if you see your child is stealing at the age of 5, it is a goodly thing to put the rod to that behind, so that when this child is no longer a child, but then an adult, this child is no longer stealing and has not developed this bad habit of doing something that you are not supposed to be doing. Because if you allow this child to keep doing those foolish things, when this child gets older, these habits will become greater habits and worse. So when you could have nipped it in the bud when this baby was a child, you allowed it to continue. So a good father that delighteth in his son and his daughter is going to chasten and corrected that person, corrected that son and corrected that daughter. So when you get older, you are doing the things that are goodly, right? Come over here to the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 17. Behold, happy the man whom Yahweh corrected. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. You're supposed to be happy when you're being corrected. Because if he's not putting the rod to that behind to get you right, he's not dealing with you. He don't care about you. He don't love you. You are a bastard. You have no direction. You're not being disciplined. And discipline is the thing that maketh you nigh unto the kingdom. So if you're not being disciplined, meaning you're not going to be nigh unto the kingdom, that means he doesn't want to share his home with you. So you better be happy if you're being chastened and being corrected. Come over here. We're moving back to the book of Psalms, chapter 119, moving to verse 72. It says, the law of thy mouth, better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. The law of thy mouth, better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. That law means something. That law is understanding. It gives me peace. It gives me comfort. So it means way more than gold and silver. Gold and silver is corruptible, but the Most High's law is not. Come over here to Proverbs chapter 3, verses 14 through 15. They read, "For the merchandise of it better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her." That's that wisdom. Mind you, that particular chapter in Proverbs is the personification of wisdom. That's this understanding of this law. So the law of thy mouth better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. The words of the Most High mean more than worldly riches. Because even through the very law of the Most High, you gain riches. What does it say in Proverbs about wisdom? That in her left hand is, let me go to it. It's Proverbs 3:16. It says, "Length of days in her right hand, in her left hand riches and honor." So the law of the mouth of the Most High is better unto us than thousands of gold and silver. But in you keeping this law, keeping the wisdom of the Most High, you also gain those riches as well, and life. I mean, how good is that? Like, it's just like you get some back. There's always some good in the Most High. You get a backdoor of this and backdoor. I mean, it's good. Verse 73. It says, "Thy hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn thy commandments." It is the very Most High who created you, who knoweth that He has numbered the hairs on your head. He made you. He knew you when he knew you when you were in the womb of your mother. Had already fashioned you. He knew how you was gonna sound, look, act, think, all that good stuff. "Thy hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn thy commandments." It is the Most High is the only being that knows you. That is the only being that you should plead for understanding, direction, advising, counsel. Now, like I said before, I'm not saying that you can't ask someone for advice or ask counsel of anyone, because we know in the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't have thousands of counselors, right? But touching on this particular verse, because the Most High is the individual or the being that has created you, fashioned you, knows you, that is the being that you should be pleading these mercies unto. Verse 74, "They that fear thee will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in thy word." Man, they that fear the Most High will be glad when they see King David, because I have hoped in thy word. That's just coming back over to when he says, "I a companion of all that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts." We love when we see each other in our fringes. You know, the brother got a beard, sister got a hair wrap, not dressed provocative, keeping these laws, and then repenting when you've messed up, and you get back up, because a just man falls 7 times, and you get on up. You don't get to start devising malice. So we be glad when we see each other, because we all have one thing in common, is that we have hope in the Most High's word. Come over here to the book of Hebrews. I believe it's 7, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, it's actually 6. So it's the book of Hebrews, chapter 6. We're going to start in verse 17. "Wherein the Most High, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed by an oath, that by 2 immutable things in which impossible for the Most High to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us, which we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which entereth into that entereth into that within the veil, whither the forerunner is for us entered, Yahushua, made an high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So we all have a common hope. We all have one thing in common, and that is the hope in the word of the Most High. And I apologize when I get tongue twisted. It's like my mind I don't know what be going on, y'all, but we all have one thing in common, and that is the hope of the Most High's word. And in accordance with Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18 in particular, it says that by two immutable things, in which impossible for the Most High to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us. So immutable means fixed or unchangeable, right? So the Most High cannot lie. You understand? So we know that this very hope that we have, and this is the hope, which we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, in which entereth into that within the veil, whither the forerunner is for us entered, Yahushua, made an high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Yahushua is our hope, my people, who has entered into that forerunner. He's in the holiest of holy, mediating on our behalf. That is the thing that we as a people have in common. The hope in this word. We believe that the Most High, in accordance with Deuteronomy 18, let's turn to it. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15 through 19. The Lord thy goodness, y'all, I'm so sorry. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 15 through 19. The Lord thy creator will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken. According to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy creator in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh our creator, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahweh said unto me, they have well, which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require of him. That is the common hope that we have, that the Most High promised that since we were too fearful to hear his voice at Mount Horeb or Mount Zion, when he was speaking through that dark cloud, and the thunder, and it was so loud, and we were so scared, and we beseeched unto Moses, tell Yahweh to send us somebody to speak his word. We too scared to hear his word. Our hope is that he did send this individual from out of the midst of our brethren to fulfill that request and to speak unto us the words of the Most High. And that too is how you know Yahushua is for Israel. He came from the midst of his brethren because we were too scared to hear the word of the Most High at Mount Horeb. So we asked the Israelites, we asked for him to send someone to speak this word to us. Yahushua is ours. He belongs to us. That was the reasoning for him to be sent, to speak the words of the Most High to us, because we were too scared to hear at Mount Horeb. And the person that he sent out of the midst of our brethren is the person to save us, and also the individual that he will require if we have actually listened or not. So we be happy when we see each other, because we all have this same thing in common. We have hope in the word of the Most High, and that hope is Yahushua. Coming on down, verse 75, it says, I know, O Yahweh, that thy judgments right, and thou in faithfulness hast afflicted me. The Most High is known by his very judgments. Excuse me. He is known by his very judgments. So it's through faithfulness when he's afflicting you. When you think of someone being faithful, let's get that definition. I want to actually just get the definition. Faithful means remaining loyal and steadfast, true to the facts or the original. Those who are faithful to a particular religion or political party. So when you think of faithful, you think of loyal, constant, true, devoted, true-hearted, exact, precise, accurate, faithful. Faithful. So he says, I know, O Yahweh, that thy judgments right, and thou in faithfulness hast afflicted me. The Most High judgments are right because he's known by his very judgment. His balance, his weights are balanced. The scale is balanced. And when you're being afflicted, it's through faithfulness. It's steadfast. It's constant. It's not going to change. And he does that affliction faithfully to try you, to make sure you still belong to him. Are you lukewarm? Is he going to have to spew you out? Just like what is it in the scriptures? I'm sorry. You have to prove a friend, just like you prove someone to know if they real or if they fake, if they really about your heart, if they really on your team, if they really got your best at interest. Just how you're proving this person. Is this man real? Is this woman real? Man, is this really my homegirl? This really my homeboy? You trying this person because you know a friend. You know you got a true friend when they got your back even through the ugly, and not just there when it's good. You know you got a good woman when she's there, even when you going and you struggling, brother. You ain't making the money that you want to make, but she got your back. Despite how ugly it is, she there. My sister, he don't care you done gained weight, done got big, done had all his kids. He ain't turned his back on you. You done been smoked with the scab at the scalp, but he still love you with your bald-headed self. He still love you. He don't care about these Instagram models with the fake booties, fake titties. He still love you. He got your best at interest. That's how you know if somebody's really there for you. That's how you know somebody really got your back. Is if they're going to stay during the ugly. That's why this walk is not for the weak. Only the strong will survive. A fool will casteth her behind him before too long, because this wisdom be likened unto a burden or a yoke placed upon his back. So he ain't going to hold it too long. And wisdom is going to try you. And to a fool, she's a burden. He ain't going to hold her for too long. That's why I keep telling you. That's why the scriptures keep telling you. This walk is for the strong. Only the strong will survive. You ain't going to survive if you weak, honey. Because the Most High is faithful in his affliction. In afflicting you, putting you through that furnace of adversity to make sure that this person is going to do my will and keep my law. Are you going to keep my word? Or you only love me when I'm blessing you? You only loving me when I'm giving you the things that you desire in this world? Is that the only reason that you love me? You see my faithful servant Job? Let me turn to it. Let's turn to it. Oh my God. Let me turn to it. Hast thou considered my servant Job, that none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil? Do you only love the Most High because he keeps this hedge around you and ain't letting you be afflicted, blessing you, giving you everything that you want in life? You're not being touched. Or are you still going to hold them down even when times get ugly? You got to think about those things, my people. Verse 75 again says, I know, O Yahweh, that thy judgments right, and thou in faithfulness has afflicted me. Through faithfulness, he is afflicting you. It's a continual thing. That's why you got to walk It's out, baby. Let me tell you, man, you gotta work out your salvation in trembling and in fear continually. You gotta keep yourself in these scriptures. Keep yourself in these scriptures. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. This is a continual thing. This ain't just something you can read the Bible one time. Oh, I'm saved. It's over. I'm good. I'm straight. Once saved, always saved. The Lord loveth me. He loveth all. Come as you are. Nah. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. This is a perpetual thing, my people. It's sweet to the taste, but it's bitter to the stomach. When you realize this ain't something you could play with. That's why only the strong survive. Many are called, but few are chosen. I know, O Yahweh, that thy judgment's right, and thou in faithfulness has afflicted me. You better love that affliction, my people. We coming up on an hour and 3 minutes. I'm going to stop this teaching, and I'm going to go ahead and get it up on the channel so that you all have it during the Shabbat. And we're going to pick up in verse 76. I love you all. I'll see you. Bye.